Hi everyone, my name is Sarah and this is my Booktube introduction. So I thought I would start with talking a little bit about myself. My name is Sarah. I am 20 years old and, well, where I'm from is kind of complicated. I was born in Barquisimeto, Venezuela, and I spent my life there for the first 9 years. And the next 9 years I moved to San Diego, California, which is where I grew up and where I feel is my home and where I identify myself with the most. I grew up there and I think it's one of the greatest cities in all of the United States. I think it's amazing. And after that, at 18, I moved back to Venezuela, but now I am living in Caracas, which is the capital. If you don't know where Venezuela is, here's a map. It's right next to Colombia and above Brazil, and we are on the border next to the Caribbean Sea. It's actually a very beautiful place, but we have some issues right now with the country, the government, the people, so I really don't suggest you visiting at this moment. I have been reading since I moved to the United States. I love reading. I think it's one of the greatest pastimes ever. I started in 4th grade with like Babysitter's Club books and Nancy Drew and all those cool stuff, and then when I got to 7th grade, my science teacher introduced me to young adult books via Twilight, and I fell in love with it. It took me actually a while to pick it up and read it myself, but as soon as I did, that was the first book that really got me into the young adult genre, and I haven't looked back since. As explained, because I am in South America, primarily all the books are in Spanish, and even though I could read them in Spanish, I think it takes away from the author's voice once you read it when it's translated. At least personally, I don't really like reading them that way. And 2, because I don't like reading them in Spanish, it's actually twice as hard to find books in English. So what I spent the past 2 years of my life doing is buying ebooks. I have now over 1,000 ebooks on my Kindle app, and that's how I've been reading with everyone. So I decided to start this Booktube because of Instagram. Actually, I have an Instagram account, and just looking through, I found the account called YA Books Roll, and it talked about booktubers, and I hadn't really known what booktubing was until I looked it up and I found it. I knew regular YouTubers like Tyler Oakley and Troye Sivan and all those kinds of people, and I've been following them for a very long time, but I didn't know about Booktube until like a month ago. And I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. I just think it's so great that people sit around and make videos and just talk about books all day, every day. And I decided, why not? And I decided this mostly also because of one of the people I follow on Instagram started a booktube. Her name is Demi, and her channel is called Bookish Elves. And seeing her beginning and her courage to post herself out there and make YouTube videos and talk about what she loves really gave me the courage to sit down and do this video for you today. So thank you, Demi, and thank you to everyone who started this trend, because without you I wouldn't do it. So I figured I'd tell you about my bookshelf. My bookshelf is actually very small, and that's in part because when I moved from the United States to Venezuela, it's a crunch to remove, I had to leave 4 boxes full of books behind. I used to have 2 big bookshelves like this, 4 shelves full to the brim of books, and I couldn't bring them. and they are in my mom's friend's house in boxes, and it's incredibly depressing, and I wish I had them, but I don't. So I got to take one box of books and other knick-knack type things here with me, and these are the books that made it. So let's talk about them. We have the Divergent series by Veronica Roth. Divergent is actually not here because I loaned it out to one of my mom's students. My mom teaches English, and so she's using it as one of her studies, and one of her homework is to read in English, so I let her borrow Divergent. I also have the Twilight books, all of them, plus the Twilight Saga Illustrated Guide, which I love. I think the illustrations are so beautiful, and I'm so happy that I got it. I also have the Blue is for Nightmare series by Lori Farias Dollars. It's one of my favorite series. It's one of the first witchcrafty type of series that I ever read, and I love it so much, and I made my grandma read it, and it's wonderful. She loved it. And the first two of the Vampire Diaries books by L.J. Smith. My bad. By L.J. Smith. I have them here. I have a few others, but then again, those are in the boxes. And last but not least, The Summoning by Kelly Armstrong. I absolutely love this book. I couldn't leave it. I have the rest of the trilogy, but that had to stay in the books, but I knew that I couldn't not bring the first one, at least, with me. So this is what came with me, and I reread it various times throughout my 2 years here, and I still love it. I wish this was more than a trilogy. I wish this was a whole series, because I love these characters so much, but unfortunately, it's just a trilogy. Something else that I'm going to mention is how I'm going to structure my booktube. I am going to hopefully try to review every book that I read. I'm obviously going to talk about them as much as I can. I won't have the physical copy, but there'll be probably a picture of it right next to me, right here. Also, I would like to do TBRs, book hauls, and that type of things, but I want to do something different. Because of my limited resources here in Venezuela, the first times that I got ebooks, they were free. A friend of mine showed me how to get ebooks on Amazon for free, and I have a lot of them. Every day, new authors, self-published authors, a lot of people share their books and talk about them and put them on sale for $0.00. I take advantage of that and buy the ones that I find most interesting. Usually they're young adults. Other times they're new adult books, even literary fiction, fantasy, and all that good stuff. So I'm going to do a monthly book review of a free ebook that I found on Amazon or on one of the websites I subscribe to that show me which books have deals and stuff like that. Also, I read a lot of fan fiction. That's how I started after I read Twilight and got into the fan fiction community. And I know a lot of the authors that went from fan fiction to published fiction, sort of like E.L. James in the 50 Shades of Grey series. She was one of those authors that I first read before she was published, and I have a lot of friends who do that as well. So I thought it would be kind of cool to help them out and do book reviews of their books, not necessarily just pulled to publish, which is what we call fan fictions that are then renewed and published as books, but of regular books and books that they write from their heart, and they publish either self-published or with a small publishing company. And I thought it'd be a really fun idea to show you guys about that world and talk about that as well. So I'm hopeful, and I might bring some friends here with me to do tags and stuff like that if they don't mind. And that's pretty much going to be what all it's going to be about. I usually don't have a hard time getting into books. I love reading. I blaze through reading. I spent most of my time reading. And this semester of my school year, I only have 2 days of classes. So I'm going to have a really light schedule, so I'll probably be doing a lot of videos. And yeah, I'm just going to sit and talk to you guys and let you know what I think and tell you about my favorite authors and new things I find and new adult and young adult and fantasy and science, because I love anything and everything in reading. But as I said, I have over 1,000 books on Kindle, so I still keep up with current books right now, and I'm super excited to show you guys my TBR, which I will be doing next. It's the video I'm going to show after this one. I wanted to talk about myself, let you guys know me. If you have any questions about me, put them down in the comments. I'm probably going to do a tag, get to know me tag, too, so you guys can ask me questions and get to know me more, because that's part of it. I want you guys to know me and my life, and that's the other thing besides the books. And if you know me, you probably understand how I view books. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you liked this introduction, and yeah, come again. Bye.